Given that it is winter, temperatures are getting a little low, and I'm what you would call a little wiener when it comes to cold. So in order for me to actually leave my house without absolutely shivering, I need a big old comfy jacket. Now, I've got a vision of a jacket that I've wanted for a while now, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to make it myself because I am fairly certain that it just doesn't exist yet. So for the base of the jacket, I want it to be the ever-popular Carhartt active jacket. And no, I am not trying to be a Sigma male Battinson wannabe cosplayer. I just think that it's a comfortable jacket and it looks cool. Okay. But the first problem I come across is with the color. I want it to be a sort of canvas light green. I know that that is picky as shit, but the heart wants what the heart wants. And try as I might, I could not find it. Another problem, as you can see, comes from the fact that these jackets are expensive as hell. So I searched far and wide. I drove for a full day to malls, department stores, thrift stores. I also surfed the web on every website that I could think of to search for some sort of alternative brand that would have the same look. And all of this is really boring, so I got it. As you can see, the jacket is pretty dark, but it is the right tone of green that I want, and I figured that I could just put it in a dilute bath of bleach to lighten it up. But before I went full ham on bleaching my jacket, I did a little test bit on the inside, and it came out very yellow. It's really yellow. So I scrapped that idea and did a bit of research in other ways of lightening clothes that doesn't yellow them, and I came to the solution that is the RIT color remover. From what I saw, basically it's not chlorine based, so it strips the color out differently, I guess. I'm not a chemist, I'm just a dumbass with a camera. So without testing it, I then got a pot, which of course was way too small to boil the jacket in, but my sink wasn't. The water, however, still needs to be about 140 degrees, so I still need to use the pot to boil the water. While I'm waiting 30 years for this water to boil, I figured I'd sit down and ask if you could subscribe and to like the video if you indeed like what you're seeing. As cringy as it is, seeing that little number tick up does allow me to go to sleep at night, so thank you. In all seriousness, I do really appreciate y'all's support. Thank you. I'd be lying if I said I really put any thought into how hard it was going to be to actually transport a massive pot of scalding water. Alright, so it took a literal hour and a half to get it up to boiling, but we're here, so cross your fingers this goes well. We got it. Now we just need to add this shit. Ooh. Pretty. I mean, not really, it's just stuff. This actually smells nice. I'm pretty sure the package says to do this in a well-ventilated area, but it smells really nice, so I'm just gonna close all the windows and really huff this as much as possible. I need another thing. I wish I could just stick my hands directly in this. I feel like that would be a bad idea. I'm just gonna keep doing this for about 20 minutes, I guess. This is actually going really well. That's a first. What I was hoping would happen actually happened because it only sucks the color out of natural fibers and not synthetic. It didn't suck the color out of the drawstrings and out of the thing, so I'll have like a two-tone jacket. And also, this is not yellow, and I'm very happy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pull it out because it's been 15 minutes. Ooh. Oh, look at that water. Hot. That's hot. Now that I got it rinsed, as you can see, it's a lot more, it's a lot less blue, so I guess a lot of the blue came out in the dye and it was being washed out. So that's actually really good because it was looking a little bit too bluish green. And of course it's going to lighten up quite a bit once I put it through the washer and the dryer, because once it's dry it of course gets a lot lighter. So I will do that right now. Disaster has struck. So as you can see, this is very yellow. This looks nothing like what was in the thing. We're gonna have to go with plan B and purely whiten this and then dye it green. Either that or get it as white as possible and maybe tone it with a blue. Round 3. Third time's the charm, right? One wash cycle later. Okay, given that this is as feasibly white as it's going to get, because it is this nice like yellowish color, what I can just do is use this little homie to tone it, and it will, in theory, be the right color. So hopefully this will work, but we definitely have to give it a third bath, and let's get on with it. So it's the next day, and I'm pissed. It turned out a lot more lime green than I was expecting. When I got it off the rack, it looked like a light blue, so I just nabbed it. But I guess because it was technically aquamarine, they put a little bit of green pigment into it, and it dyed it more green than I wanted. So yeah, I'm gonna have to remove the color again. Okay. Okay. That's slightly less green. Back to the yellow color it was. So now I'm going to tint it with a regular blue. And I'm sure you don't want to have to see me dye it again anyway. So I'm just going to, bippity boppity blue. There we go. All right. Whoa, that's a lot better. As you can see, it is now finally sage green. What you, of course, didn't see is that I actually had to try and dye this a couple more times. But we got the result we wanted, and this is the color that I was looking for. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, Brody, that's not all you're going to be doing with the jacket, is it? And to that I'd say, yeah, smart, but like, watch your tongue, please. Now you'll be interested to know that we're actually gonna... Oh, we're gonna embroider. Why are my clothes different? So as you can see, I went with a cooler palette, so it would kind of match the sage green that I got going on, but I also got some warmer tones just to match the trim that I have on there as well. Now, because this jacket is, of course, so thick, I had to modify this thing and add a bolt to it so it could extend large enough to actually fit within the hoop. The sucker is chunky. I got a couple designs that I want to embroider on here. It doesn't have to be exactly this. This is just a proof of concept here, but I just sketched a couple ideas down. These are gonna overlap each other, be a little bit longer, shorter, whatever I need it to be to fill up this jacket full of foliage. First things first though, we've got to get our design drawn on here. Now I'm gonna have it look like it's kind of coming out from underneath the hood and going down the breast here, as well as the back of the arm, I guess, top of the arm, I don't know. I'm also gonna do a couple bits here and there, just all over the jacket, but mainly this is the area. I'm probably also gonna line this little, the little hood with something, because I feel like that would be kind of neat. I haven't really planned this out, I'm just gonna kind of go with it, see what looks cool. So yeah, let's do it. Alright, so we got it all drawn up. Of course, the line thickness is going to be a lot thicker for like the stems versus like the stems going to the leaves and stuff like that. So it's going to have a little bit of variation to the line work here. And also, I'm probably not going to use every single one of these colors, but it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. It's embarrassing to say, but I learned that quote from Alien vs. Predator when I was like 10 years old, and I've used it in my day-to-day life too many times. So, yeah, I'm just going to put on a long documentary or something and start embroidering and time-lapse this all so I don't have to talk or think while I do this. So, let's do it.
Against all embroidery projects that idiots can conjure, we will send unto them only you. Snip and sew until it is done.
And that's what I did, okay? Now, it took me a long time. I started embroidering back in December, and it is now the end of March. I won't say that it actually took me that long to do it. Half of the time I spent was just me being lazy and not doing it. So, excuses. Now that the embroidery is finished, we do have one more task. And because of this dilemma, we have a kind of two bird, one stone sort of solution. I've also been wanting to do this sort of sewing technique known as Sashiko Reppin. It's usually used to like patch holes in pants and stuff like that, which is why it's called Sashiko Reppin. But I don't really have any holes in my jeans right now. I was just waiting for an excuse to be able to do it. What we have is me being a little stupid when I started embroidering, which I didn't just go in between the lining and the canvas to embroider, so it would actually already have that protective layer. At the start, I was just going full ham, going all the way through it. Some people are able to keep their embroidery like backing really neat. That's not me, and for one, it looks really ugly, but also my little boobas are gonna be rubbing up against it a lot, and it's going to eventually unravel some of the knots, or it's going to catch on a button, and it's gonna yoink one of the stitches out, and it's just gonna ruin all the work that I just did. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to make a little pattern to cover the area. I'm going to cut said pattern out of a piece of fabric that I got here. I'm also going to get some embroidery floss, just like before, and we're just gonna stitch it over the top of it. It's gonna look neat, be functional. We're all gonna be happy. All right, so enough talk, let's act. Let's do it. Now the first step, of course, is marking where your stitches need to go. As you can see, it was very tedious, but turned out accurate, so A-okay. The next step is sewing the edge down. wasn't as straightforward as I thought it was going to be. Because it's a cushiony material, once you start sewing, if you don't pin it and stretch it out, your material ends up a lot more short than you expected because it starts to bunch up. So pin your material, then you sew. Next up was all the little X's. Crosses? X's? Depends on how you look at it. Anyway, took up way more floss than I was expecting. I had to go to the store the next day and buy some more, which is why there is a costume change. Wow! And with that, the last stitch on this jacket was made. And I actually did have to iron on a little patch on the inside of this pocket here. But I'm going to gloss over that because that's kind of anticlimactic to the video. So would you look at that? How cool and dope and sweet. A jacket. No! I do now. Real cold out here. Just kidding. It's like 80 degrees. I'm sweating my ass off. This is what I get for starting the project whenever it's cold out and then finishing once it's hot and then wanting to show off in Texas, of all places. I'm just gonna chalk it up to penance for taking so long to actually finish the project. This is my jacket all finished up. I like it a lot. I'm gonna wear it a lot once it's cold again. But yeah, one last corny teleportation joke. Okay, made home safe. You don't gotta check in on me or anything. Gosh, bye.